Today on Brilliance Business TV, we have Judy O'Beirn, President and CEO of Hasmark Publishing International. Judy has spent the last 12 years helping hundreds, if not thousands, of authors publish their books and become international bestsellers. Stay tuned. Welcome to Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler. We have a wonderful guest today, Judy O'Beirn. The ultimate way to build authority is having a book. It's like having a business card, but much, much better. And getting a book to international #1 bestseller. What a way to be introduced at events when you're getting to speak on stage, when you're doing all of your copy. Having a book can be really, really beneficial. So I am really looking forward to a conversation with Judy O'Beirn from Hasmark Publishing today. Now, I just want to make an official shout out to our show sponsors, Dreamweaver, Artist Ranch. We are streaming live on mspnewsglobal.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and we're also streaming through the E360 TV network under Fresh Takes, going out to Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, Roku, and we're also on Business Innovators Radio Network. So now I've got the introduction out the way, let's bring in our incredible guest, Judy O'Beirn. Judy, welcome to Brilliance Business TV.
Well, thank you for having me, Mark. It's truly an honor to be here today.
I'm really looking forward to a conversation with you today. I have 2 books. I have one launching next year. I know the power of having a book. So I would like to just go back a little bit, Judy, a little bit about your background and past and the story behind Hasmark Publishing.
Thank you for that, Mark. We've been officially in business for about 13 years. And I started by my sister asked if I wanted to come and help her. So we began with the marketing. Hasmark actually stands for Heart and Soul of Marketing. So we came into the business marketing books to get them onto the bestseller list. And we've been very fortunate that we began working with Janet and Chris Atwood for the passion test we put on the New York Times. We evolved to working with publishers. We've worked with Hayos Publishing, Random House, HarperCollins, Wiley, you name it. We've probably either worked for them or worked with them. So we're very, very fortunate to work with folks like Deepak Chopra, Marcy Shimoff, Jack Canfield, Bob Proctor, Greg Braden. Honestly, the list goes on and on.
Big fans of all of them.
Yeah, their work is absolutely incredible. And we were so incredibly lucky to have met many of them. Many we were hired through the publisher, Ariel Ford, for example. So it all began there with the marketing, as I said. So we put a lot of authors onto the New York Times list. We put literally thousands onto the bestseller list in our history. So it evolved from us doing the marketing campaigns, the bestseller campaigns. We then thought we wanted more control over the books. And that's when we decided we would go into the publishing industry. We then, about 5 years ago, brought the marketing and publishing together. And that's where we've evolved to today in the evolution of Hasmark.
I know how professional your work is as well. I know you really take care of your clients. So I want to pick your brains today, Judy. In your opinion, what makes a good book, Judy?
Oh, fantastic question. I believe, to me, it's first and foremost, it's the cover. It's going to grab the fastest attention.
Yes.
Of course, it's that few second rule of you either got us or you haven't got us. And I find that there's quite a diversity in the covers. Some people like text, some people like images, some people like themselves on the cover. I say the thing with ever putting yourself on the cover is that if you're known, if your face attracts people, like putting a Kim Kardashian on your cover, of course that's going to draw people in. But and then of course then it does become the content of the book, because of course it's the quality of the writing, the editing. Wow, I'll bet you anything that it would be you'd be hard pressed not to pick up a book and find an error in it. You'd be hard pressed to not find an error in it, is what I mean.
I agree. It can be very stressful, that process as well, having to keep reading the book and noticing errors. And I have read some really well-known books as well, and even I have found errors in really successful books, Judy.
Oh, absolutely. And it does stop you. I don't know how many times I've read something and I'll start going through it and a word will trip me up and I'll stop. And it's like I've lost the whole meaning of the book then, or the whole meaning of that paragraph. So by far the quality of editing, the story is important. Don't misunderstand it, because if you're a fiction reader, the cover will have drawn me in. But the reading of the book, you got to catch me at the beginning.
Yes.
And one of the things that I find is sometimes people want to start with kind of the what's behind it, what me write the book. So we'll start with more of the bad news. And that's the biggest mistake you can make. Start with because then you're coming across as a victim. If you come across as victorious, as the winner, as the one who rise above it, you cut the audience like that. Because a lot of times they give away the ending first, right? They start with the ending, then they go into the backstory of what happened, what was the journey. So
great approach. So we've talked a little bit about what makes a good book. Are there any mistakes that we should avoid making, Judy?
Yeah, I actually tripped on two of those things. One of the things is if you come across as a victim, if like I remember one story and something very, very horrific happened to this lady. She's doing incredible now, but she started with that. She started coming across as that, the victim. And as soon as you do that, you've lost your audience. You just lost the reader, because you become a victim. They don't see you as victorious. The other thing is, we talked about the editing. It's incredible how many people believe it or are coached to it to say, oh, don't worry about the editing. Push it through, do it quickly, and go. And it's like, oh my goodness, please, people, the book ends up on the bookshelf. It's there for its virtual life forever. It never has to come down. It's well worth it, even if it slows the release of the book down, to do an incredible job on the editing.
I agree. And we have got the book ready, great cover, great content. It's all really edited beautifully. Then we get to launch phase. How important is the launch of a book, and what makes a great launch, Judy?
The launch is important, and if you do it right, you have the capability of becoming a bestseller. You have about 6 months to be considered a new release, so that time is very critical. And the stats are something like 97% of authors sell less than 500 copies in the release of their book. So it's not an easy task to create a successful launch. But if you do, you're going to be on bestseller lists, you're going to draw attention, you're going to get greater reviews, you're going to draw attention of media, all of it. To me, the launch is by far the most important part of it. But not to say the extension of it isn't as important, because you want to keep the life of your book going.
I was going to say that, because I do see that quite often. People make a big fuss for a few days about the launch, and then you don't really hear about it again. But the way you should approach it is even 3, 6 months, even 12 months down the line. You've got to act as though that book has just been launched and still have that excitement behind the book. Do you agree with me there?
Absolutely, wholeheartedly agree. You never know whose attention you're going to draw from it. You never know the extension of what's going to come of your book. So it's almost easier to concentrate on the launch, because you're in that emotional mode of, I'm excited, I've got a book coming out, I've told everybody. It's almost harder to keep that momentum going. But there's so many opportunities available to us to keep on talking about it. And even with my book, I find that years later, I'm still, every once in a while, a royalty payment will show up in my account, and it's like, yes, I do know it's still being read. I do know people are still talking about it.
I get like that when I get the royalty payments.
It's fun. It's like, but Proctor teaches about multiple sources of income, and it's like, yay, it's happening.
Yes.
And the more books, of course, the more checks that'll come in. So
yes, very true. And why do you feel bestseller is so important, that you do get bestseller?
To me, it's like having an education. Whether you have, you come out of high school, or you come out of college, or you come out of university, if you've got a degree, it changes the projectile of your life. So our degree, in terms of an author, is to become a bestseller.
Yes.
It's you go, I was just talking to somebody about that this morning, is if you go to, say you're in the supermarket and line up, I remember several times people would say, well, what do you do? I'm a book publisher. And I said, and I've written an international best-selling book. And, oh, really? And it's like, wow, what's my 24/7 job with my passion in life is not as big a deal to that person as the fact that I became an international bestseller.
And there are millions and millions of books, so you have to get bestsellers so that you do stand out from the crowd as well, Judy. Judy, I have really enjoyed part 1. We do need to go to a commercial break, so please stay in your seat. I've got more questions to come. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for part 1 of Brilliance Business TV. We're in conversation with Judy O'Beirn of Hasmark Publishing. We have discussed the importance of becoming a bestseller, tips of how to make a great book, mistakes, what to look out for. Join us after the commercial break.
Hello, this is Stephen Buckner, and just wanted to tell you I support the Dreamweaver project, It's a great project where, artists such as myself will be able to come together and basically collaborate and to have a retreat to feel accepted and welcome. And that's something that artists here and around the world could always benefit from. So I just want to say, please support the Dream Reliever Project. I think it's for a great cause, and I salute all the independent artists out there and artists that are signed as well. And have a wonderful day.
Welcome back to Brilliance Business TV. We're in conversation with Judy O'Beirn of Hasmark Publishing. Judy, welcome back.
Thanks, Mark.
Now, you do things before other people are doing things. You stand out from the crowd, which is really important in business. You're very creative with the services you provide to your clients. For example, I know you do things like augment reality books or augmented reality books, which when I was on a call with you a few months back, I was really impressed by that. So just share a little bit about the products and services you provide your clients, and tell us all about augmented reality as well, Judy.
That's incredible, Mark. I appreciate it so much. We're always trying to be innovative. In life, it's like writing a book. You want to stand out and become the expert in your field, and that's why we chose and we continue to choose to find creative ways to bring our books even more attention than they're already getting.
Yes.
So we started working with a company a couple of years ago to bring augmented reality into our books. And after doing some research, I saw that it's in children's books, but I couldn't find it anywhere else in the publishing industry. So we're now officially launching 99.9% of our books with augmented reality in it. And there's lots of, it really is limited by your imagination as far as the author goes, because it could be them talking to you. So the book literally comes to life. You can scan the book cover, you can scan an image inside of it, you can scan the author's photo at the back of it. In fact, what we did was at the very beginning, we took the Hasmark logo and we use it as a marker, and it has an experience that's associated with it. So when you scan Hasmark logo or you scan an author, a video will come up. The video can be talking, it could be animation, it could be a book trailer, it could be, we have someone else doing songs. We have this.
So fresh.
Yeah, and trust me, we're now in the background, we're beginning to expand it to be even a bigger opportunity. And recently with the Hasmark logo, I added the expansion of it, not just being one experience. You'll hear me talking, but you also can see it in animation. You can see the same message in a different language. You can also see it in sign language.
That's absolutely incredible.
It's such an because what I found is that when readers were reading a book, they want to get to know the author.
It really brings that book to life in a whole new way. It's so up to date with how everything's going with the metaverse and all these virtual reality platforms. It's just so fresh. Judy, tell us a little bit more about the other products and services, Judy, that you provide.
We do a whole list of, as we've talked about, we do everything there is to do with publishing your book. We, of course, market your book and put them onto bestseller lists, which we have done successfully for past 13 years. We are bringing in coaching into our business soon. We're going to do book camps that we're going to be introducing. So there'll be workshops for writing your book, marketing your book. It is new. We're working extensively on it in the background to be creative in how we bring it to the world. And as well as we're taking augmented reality to an entirely different level. I cannot wait for the announcement of that. I think we're going to start putting some teasers out pretty soon, but we're in the contract negotiation stage of the expansion of where we actually, and with the augmented reality, we have our own app. It was something else we developed.
Very exciting, Judy. Now, I would like to talk about your book series, Unwavering Strength. Tell us all about that.
The concept came from my sister had said to me, you got to write a book. You're in the book industry, write a book. And I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. And I had gone through a series while I was developing the company, creating the company. I was going through a whole bunch of challenges with the family. And what happened is we had a number of, again, I'm going to come from the point that I say you shouldn't come from, but this is the history, is we had gone through quite a few deaths, quite a few relationships with close family members. And my husband ended up getting the same diagnosis as all the rest. And they ultimately passed away from it. And I looked at him and thought, you have got to have the most incredible strength I've ever seen to be able to face it, knowing what you've seen happen. And all of a sudden it was like, oh my goodness, unwavering strength. I'm going to write a book to honor him. And so the first book in this series is about his journey and his strength and the strength of our family members. And then the second book is, how did I overcome? How did I manage through it myself? And it's a collaborative book. It's a book of many stories and many diverse stories too, because it's about you having internal strength. Everybody has unwavering strength. It's just the recognizing of it.
And what a beautiful story to tell as well, Judy. Where can our audience get copies of the book series, Judy?
I do have a website, unwaveringstrength.com, and you'll be able to find out about, you can always write me. It's on Amazon, Unwavering Strength. So
unwaveringstrength.com or Amazon. That's perfect. Now, let's talk a little bit about Hearts to Be Heard.
That project came about because I was finding that I would get approached by people who were in a position that they were younger, so they weren't in a position to finance their own publishing, or that they were handicapped. And I wanted to be able to offer something that if you are unable to bring your heartfelt story to the world, that we would give you the opportunity. So that's how Hearts to Be Heard came about. In fact, we're sponsoring a young man right now I just loved his passion. He's 14 years old. He lives in Austria. And he approached me one day and he sent me the email, and it's like, I saw your publishing company. I heard about you from a friend. Would you be interested in helping me bring my book to the world? And it was like, absolutely yes. And he did his own illustrations. He wrote his own story. And we're in the process of publishing his book under Hearts to Be Heard. And I'm just so thrilled because it's like, what an opportunity for that young man.
That's so beautiful, Judy. And you're giving back, which is absolutely incredible. I want to encourage our audience, if you are interested in taking a different approach with some augmented reality, maybe you are ready to get your book to bestseller. Do you have a great idea, a great story to tell, and you want to be fresh with your approach at launching your book, and you want to be a successful author? Connect with Judy at Hasmark Publishing. Go to hasmarkpublishing.com. hasmarkpublishing.com. That's www.hasmarkpublishing.com. hasmarkpublishing.com. So in your professional opinion, Judy, what does the world of authorship and the publishing industry hold?
I think it's the opportunity is so much easier than it ever was before.
Yes.
I mean, the Amazon's making it easy, Ingram Spark's making it easy with these print-on-demand books. The fact that there's many people delving into the electronic version of it, even with the children's book, that's a lot of our focus now, so that children, if they are going to use electronics, let it be that they're learning from them.
I love it. Judy, you have been such a wonderful guest. I have thoroughly enjoyed having a conversation with you. Is there anything we did not cover that you would like to share?
You've done an absolutely brilliant job in bringing all of it out to life. So I appreciate it more than you can imagine. It's been a wonderful, wonderful conversation today.
I'm glad we finally got together, Judy. Judy,
Yes.
you've been a wonderful guest. Thank you for giving us your time today. Thank you, everyone, for watching Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. Today, we have been in conversation with Judy O'Beirn, CEO of Hasmark Publishing. We have shared the best tips to make a great book. We have shared mistakes to avoid. We have talked about new technology, as in augmented reality, why it's important to become a bestseller. I just want to say one last time, if you would like to learn more about becoming a published author, becoming bestseller, do reach out to Judy at hasmarkpublishing.com. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Until next time, bye for now. Bye, Judy.
Bye now. Thank you.